3 hours. This monstrosity takes 3 hours of your life each time watching. Its structure is horrible, its pacing is garbage, its characters are a joke. Even if you just remove Fat Thor, entirely unnecessary character development, you gain at least 20 minutes, which you could just cut out and make a better movie. But the pacing starts with Infinity War, where I think Doctor Strange says, and now the Endgame begins. Like an hour or half an hour before the ending of that movie. So, how long is Endgame exactly now? Does it start there? Or here? Or like an hour into the Endgame movie? Because that's just the introduction to the story. Prelude. And just to get this away from the way, out of the way, their plan of the Avengers is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Because what they are doing, they are summoning back, without any other alteration, the other half of the sentient beings of the universe. That's a huge problem. First, you have to give them meat. I guarantee there will be famine and war and mass extinction because of this act. There won't be happiness. Then there is logistics, which would already be a problem with Thanos' plan, the Thanos directive. Because, these contracts work on pre-scheduling. You are there today and 2 years in the future they will deliver. How would they deliver? Because now they don't have the manpower to mine the semiconductors or whatever you want. And why would they deliver? You don't need it anymore. That's if we assume absolute optimization and everyone working together, the bare minimum half a year of total chaos after you sort out the workforce problem. The Thanos directive is terrible and leads to way more deaths than half of the universe. And this blinking black the people is even worse. That really should have been consulted with the governments. Even if you shit on the aliens, you still should think about your own planet, I think. Horrible idea. This reminds me that Echo, the series' first episode, makes the Native Americans actually, or aliens, some Ursulamantal aliens from who knows where, but they also have to realize that living underground means you are living underground. So when the whole cave system collapses on their head, well, fuck you because you are stupid. But that may that sounds like legitimizing the European white people arriving and exterminating the Native Americans, because with that concept, the native people are the white people, and the Native Americans are just alien immigrants, extraterrestrials taking away our living space. And for some reason, in that first episode, the Native American community is bar as a MAGA pun, make skating great again. Native Americans, I don't think would find the MAGA movement funny. But what do I know? Now back to this horrendous pile of boring shit. Okay, we have actually plenty of our crew, because who do we missing? Like Wanda, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Spider-Man. Woohoo. That's not a lot, to be honest. Captain Marvel is just taking space. So, okay, but no, I really, when they seemingly had time to rewrite Endgame, so Captain Marvel achieved nothing there. What was the plan with all this? And if you think about it, this is just Back to the Future. You know, going to the past, messing it up, correcting everything, solving the problems, and then Biff comes into the future and messing everything up. At least we are promised to not time travel anymore. I will keep a note on that. I don't know what will happen in the future of the franchise, but okay. Now, what else do we have? Like the heroes fucking up 2 times in the one movie. You know, the whole thing that is establishing based on what the franchise will move forward is the alternative timelines coming to be. Tilda Swinton is worrying about the gems traveling into the future or timeline, the same thing. But if they carry it back, everything will work out fine. Now, what do we have that does not travel back to its place, so creates alternative timeline? One is Thanos, because Thanos come from a time when he still not had the stones, so he didn't and dies, so he cannot create the blink or snap or whatever you want to call it. That's one fuck up. That's okay. That's just on based on what the franchise will continue on. But there is one more. Captain America. He should have known better. I don't even know what is the timeline now, because Agent Carter only worked for the whatever agency, CIA or military, in the one shot because Captain America was not there to be with her. And she went to the shield because Captain America was not there. If Captain America was there, she just became a regular housewife. So what to do about that? All the messing in the past is I don't care. It's really just going through the motions. And everything that happens in this whole thing is cliche upon cliche. It's very boring because of that. And I so hate this tendency in the MCU that one character comes up with something and character B says, oh, just fuck off. Character A go to character C, they start to work on the problem, and character B comes back and solves the issue without character A or C or whatever. This starts to very much annoy me because it is very much noticeable because it happens every fucking time. And that's not good. Now, what do we have as permanent death? We have the death of Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, who is replaced with Falcon. One way or another, we will see about that. Guardians of the Galaxy is merged with Thor. We will see about that. Wanda, we will have to talk about her later in details. We still have Ant-Man and we have Strange, but Strange is pretty much just sitting in the magic headquarters, so he's just a narrative device, a deus ex machina when it is needed. And the third of the movie, this Endgame, is just a beam war. It's like the great shinobi war in Naruto. Useless, meaningless, there is nothing to be excited about. Absolutely nothing. Let me take a peek on something. Oh yeah. Okay. We will make a mark of that. Now and reinforcement happens during the Thanos fight in the Endgame. Out of nowhere. It just happens because of plot convenience. I don't even know what the plan was here. What was the plan for the future? I'm very interested in that. And there was no real communication. We could go back and see what were the planned movies, but who even cares about that? I checked the production order timelines, not counting the streaming series, and it turns out that phase 1 was 5 years. Technically 4 because between 2008 and 10 nothing came out. Phase 2 had 3 years, and if you only count the main characters, it's a proper build-up. If we don't, then we have problems, but whatever. Phase 3 was 4 years, so 5, 3, 4. Phase 3, I tell you, was stretching it with its character limit. So adding more content to it is not a good idea, not a good plan. Now, Phase 4, we know, added way more content. And given that in 2020 nothing came out, I mean movies, that means that Phase only had 2 years to release all its content. And Wanda seems to be pretty important, so her series seem to be pretty important. And the main characters seem to be Wanda and Kang. I have no idea how it turns out. I really have to check the streaming series and add it to the chart, because without them it doesn't work like on any level. And we know that Guardians of the Galaxy will leave the franchise. The director and the actresses all gone. And Thor, I don't know why is Thor around aside getting paychecks. And they gave up on Captain Marvel. So season 4 took 2 years and season 5 took 2.5. With 2024 doesn't even having any core movie. They have Deadpool and Wolverine, but how much does that count? I actually have to check my old chart that whether it connects to like anything at all. Probably have to explain Professor X in some random movie, but that's about it. At one point we will have to talk about Professor X, who is the worst character ever existing. And I will have to explain in a couple of minutes duration why. I actually read the comics, pretty much of them, and he is just the worst. Spider-Man Far From Home or whatever seems this Marvel had the MCU supervisor seemed to have no face in the Sonyverse, so yeah, that's a thing. When did Venom come out? 2028, and Phase 4 started in 2021. Spider-Man Far From Home came out in 2019, so yeah, Venom was already out since a year. Far From Home doesn't really seem promising for the Sonyverse, which we do have to go through at one point or another. The continuation of the MCU sounds like a major headache, especially that no one has any idea what, if any, is the central plot here. And I think The central point is the multiverse, that you have to delete the splitting timelines, the what if scenarios, and get back to one definite timeline. No more what ifs. No more Fantastic Four first steps. No more whatever the X-Men universe was. No more Sonyverse. I better go now.